All right, I guess I'm now the Aaron Parnas of decarbonization in Washington. So we've got some big news right now. I've got basically two and a half key takeaways from earlier today. Department of Commerce held their Clean Buildings Team Office Hours, which is an awesome opportunity for folks to ask questions and have the experts on the line. So I think two key things sort of resulted from that, which I'll share here. The first thing was a great question that actually Commerce raised, which was sort of for compliance and exemption applications, is there any feedback on common issues that folks can avoid that would result in applications being sent back or denied? And so they shared that the most common issue so far is applications that select a reason for an exemption, for example, but the supporting documentation that was provided did not actually support the reason and or include two forms of documentation. So the example that was given was if you're looking to go for the exemption for vacant or unoccupied buildings, supporting documentation could be, these are examples they gave, things such as a rent roll, building diagram, letter from the owner explaining space is not being used, photos. They also suggested if you provide documents to sort of annotate, provide notes, whatever makes it easier, sort of explain what you're trying to demonstrate, and that you need two forms of documentation, two different types, right? So again, the example that was shared was you could provide, 10, 20 photos, but those photos are just one type of documentation. So you really need two different types. So great feedback there with respect to how folks can hopefully reduce the chance that their application gets sent back. The second thing was, and I talked about this in a prior video, that there's a little bit of a weird timing issue in that for some of the largest building owners, because your compliance deadline is actually June 1st for 220,000 square feet plus. We are going through a rulemaking process to add some flexibility, potential additional compliance pathways, et cetera. But those rules will not actually be finalized until probably the end of June at the earliest. So there's kind of that interim where you could be out of compliance if you were sort of waiting on or felt like you were one of those additional exemptions, compliance pathways, or new extensions were available to you. So the question was, what should folks do? And the answer was, let Commerce know you're interested and demonstrate engagement by basically filling out the form that they've provided, and I'll provide that below. So you have your name on the list and you'll be notified when those potential opportunities are available and you can apply for them and submit the documentation. Commerce folks definitely reiterated that they're looking to get buildings into compliance, not penalize them, and so getting engaged, which in that circumstance really means filling out the form, letting Commerce know you're working on it, is the best way. So they also shared that there'll be a bullet coming out later this week. I'm filming this on Tuesday, May 26th. A bulletin basically coming out that will tell folks what to expect regarding sort of the process for fines, and that there will be many notifications and opportunities to correct before the final notice, which implements those fines. So seems like the guidance from Commerce is if your compliance would be something that's available potentially under House Bill 1543 and those additional opportunities for flexibility, that you want to fill out that form and do the best that you can to kind of work towards compliance in the interim while we sort of wait for the rulemaking process to shake out. The 0.5 of the 2.5 things that I learned was I'm a deadline-driven person, and they clarify that the June 1st, 2026 deadline actually means 11:59 p.m. So until basically just before midnight to get your stuff in. So hopefully that's helpful. Again, call me the Aaron Parnas of decarbonization, and trying to keep folks updated on what's going on, get more buildings into compliance, decarbonize our building stock here in Washington State. Let's work together.